There we go, guys. Get ready. This is your new show.
On a plant talking sports.
Yeah. Why not?
No.
We kept teasing it, but here it is, guys.
The spinoff that nobody asked for, but everybody deserved.
Yeah.
That's all, folks. That's all should right there. That's the episode.
No. That's not all, Robbie.
Seconds.
That's not all. Yeah, no, that's all.
Yeah. That's all.
I got nothing. That's all.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Hey, Kyle. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Good of you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Glad to be back for another episode, as always.
Yeah.
Always a thrill to sit down with you on a couch and talk some sports.
There we go. Yeah, I know we've been kind of like on and off during the summer, but guys, we're back. We're back. We're ready for the fall. I mean, it's not the fall exactly yet, but we're getting there.
It definitely is not the fall right now. If you step outside, it feels like.
Yeah.
I thought I had teleported to Florida, honestly, earlier today, with how just humid and hot it is.
Sounds about right. Yeah,
and it's September, folks. This does not happen here in September.
Doesn't feel like, at least in Massachusetts, September. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. But we're making the most of it, so it's all good. Anyway, before we get into tonight's episode, just wanted to do a quick shout out to our two sponsors, Zaman Organizing and Wes Woodson. As always, their links will be in the description, and as always, we thank them for their support of this show and the Sports Blitz and Screen Time with Doug and Kyle. Definitely just keep watching, and if you're Zaman Organizing and Wes Woodson, keep rocking. And thank you as always for the support. So, on to tonight's episode. So, we did not record an episode last week, and there's a good reason for that, because Kyle and I made the trek up north, not to the North Pole.
Although we almost thought of going there.
Yeah, we almost thought of that. It actually would be a good segue, or a good pun/segue if we actually had it. But no, we made the trek up north to the town of Middleton, Massachusetts. Now, if you are a On a Couch fan for a while, you may recognize that reference because we have filmed episodes in Middleton before at the place that we frequented, a place called Country Golf, which is a mini golf course / driving range, and then next door is an ice cream place that Kyle and I, like I said, I've been to several times and always have a good time at. And so since we hadn't been in a couple of years, we realized we decided to make the trip up north. That's the third time I've said making the trek up north to Country Golf. It was a beautiful night for some mini golf, and yeah, we had a great time. Just tell the people about it. Tell them, give us your thoughts. Here, start us off.
Well, first off, it wasn't nearly as warm that time, so it was a lot more comfortable. It was definitely good mini golf night. A little buggy, but you know what? Once you get past the bugs, it was a really great time. It was a great match.
And don't forget about the smell of cow manure.
Oh yeah, that's true. But hey, that's what you get when you're near a farm. So
true. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it. Kind of like it's like farmland, like right next to or on like the land that Country Golf is on. So there's that as well.
That's true, and like it's kind of like it's pretty open and like it's cool to explore. I think you can actually even explore the farm next to it. I think it's like Richardson's farm, so it's like, I believe.
I mean, I think you're right.
I could be wrong.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Don't quote me, guys. Don't actually show up at the farm and be like, "Hey, can we explore here?" Like, just
and if you do, don't tell them that we sent you.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
We don't want to be banned. But yeah, it was a great match that we had.
It was like real. It was kind of like up and down, like back and forth. Yes. A lot of it. A lot of very poor shots were had by me. I know that for a fact. It was just really. Oh my god! Like I had some of my most embarrassing shots I've had. I think I got up to like 5 or 6 shots in some of the courses, but
I mean, listen, you got off to a slow start. I mean, if we're being honest, but you know what? You picked it up, especially on the back 9. You really picked it up, and you took what was a pretty substantial lead for me, and really shrunk it down to a very tight match. Obviously, I still won. At the end, I think I won by like 2 shots or something like that. But still, it
was close. It was a close match. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a close match. But you know what? It was just a fun night of mini golf with Kyle and I. And actually, I will say the coolest thing that happened in that mini golf experience, in that mini golf outing, actually occurred right after we got off of the 18th.
You mean the golf ball river ride?
Well, there was that.
I mean, I love that. That was great. That was actually one of the best parts of the whole.
That was that. But when Kyle nearly went diving into a little river to try to get his golf ball back.
That was epic. I loved it. I felt the rush. I thought it was like an action movie. It was awesome.
Yeah. But no, what I was talking about was when you earned yourself a free round of golf.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, somehow I was able to get in the hole-in-one. They have this like little kind of ramp, and it's like this kind of like mini sort of like, it looks like a barn or something like that, and you just kind of like hit the ball in, and yeah, I somehow got a hole-in-one in that. I was like, what? So
yeah, it was great. No, it was very very exciting. And like the thing like makes noise when you do it too, so it was like there was no doubt that Kyle got the hole-in-one.
Proof by alarm.
Yeah.
Or whatever that was. Yeah.
But and then I mean I think the other thing, I mean, if you go to country golf, you have to stop next door at Richardson's Ice Cream. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is just it's delicious. I mean, there's nothing.
One of the best.
There's nothing better than you're coming off the mini golf course, and it's a beautiful night, and you just treat yourself to some delicious Richardson's ice cream. We've always enjoyed it, and we know you would as well. And it was as good as ever the other night.
Oh my god, I loved it. It was I think I found out they might have the best sundae I've ever had. Mainly because not only is the whipped cream great, this is all made on the farm, so it's, their quality products there involved. But not only, is the whipped cream amazing, the hot fudge is just like decadent, just incredible. But on top of all that, one of the things I love that they do is that most places when you get like sundaes, they put like walnuts in it. I'm kind of like back and forth on walnuts. I can have them, whatever. I don't feel strongly about them, but they actually put some crushed almonds on it, and it just it was a game changer. Let me tell you guys, it was a game changer, just incredible. So they might have some of the best sundaes I've ever had, just hands down. Just want to let you know.
I mean, I didn't get the sundae. I got the good old chocolate peanut butter ice cream. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So
oh my
good.
God.
Chocolate with some peanut butter chunks in it. Oh, just delicious.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Like it's I
can't go wrong with like any of the flavors they have there. I mean, I feel like no matter what you get, you're gonna be satisfied to no end.
So good. Yeah, and they give you a lot. Like I think we mentioned them that we mentioned this a few times in past episodes, but they give you a lot. Like even if you ask for a small, it's like the equivalent of a pint. It's like this big, small. So I remember I made the mistake of ordering a medium, and I couldn't even like no. So
no, you gotta you definitely have to go whatever size you think you want it there. You might want to try one size smaller, because it's they give you a good portion for no matter what size you order, for sure. It is definitely a filling portion of ice cream. Yep. But yeah, it's good stuff, and it was just like I said, just a really good outing, and just really glad that we were able to go there, and it was a beautiful night for it, and just we had a great time. Any other thoughts?
No, I honestly had a lot of fun playing mini golf, despite all the really bad shots that I had. It was just a good night. It was kind of a nice way to cap off the summer too, and I'm just glad we could do that. I mean, I'm sure we'll have more mini golf outings, hopefully more in the future. Even come fall, and stuff like that. We'll try maybe some of the other spots too around the area. I also want to go back to Monster Golf. We got to go back to Monster Golf.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's been
awesome.
It's been a long time since we've been there, so yeah, definitely gotta make a return trip there, and also McGolf in Dedham. We definitely
that's
a return trip to McGolf.
That's like one of our favorite spots too.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yes. Yes. So definitely gotta hit up both those places in the future, and we will definitely be back to tell you all about it when we do.
Definitely.
So there was one. So before we sort of transition to our sort of end portion of our episode, because I have sort of a new segment that I do during the fall. If you've been watching this episode before, that I'm going to start up tonight. But I wanted to do a quick little touch on something that happened like a week ago. I didn't actually tell Kyle we were going to discuss this on the episode, so I'm kind of a little bit surprising here, but he'll know what I'm talking about in just a second. So, if you know Kyle and I, you know that we have hit up a lot of different food spots over the years, and stuff like that. And especially in Davis Square in Somerville, which is right by where Kyle lives. It's a great spot, lots of exciting places to hit up and eat at. And one of the places that we've been to, I think a couple of times throughout the years, is this place called Dragon Pizza. And
I've been there a number of times myself.
Yeah. And so Dragon Pizza kind of found itself in the news a little bit recently. Because if for those of you who don't know, Dave Portnoy, the owner of Barstool Sports, does pizza reviews. He goes around to different places around Massachusetts, New York, where Barstool is located, really across the country, and does pizza reviews. And a kind of a funny / interesting thing happened when he went to Dragon Pizza. He kind of got into an argument with the owner of Dragon Pizza, and it was a viral video. That was posted by the Barstool Pizza Reviews YouTube, and it's basically gone viral. And I just thought it was very interesting, since Kyle and I have obviously both been there on multiple occasions. I just wanted to sort of briefly bring it up because it was something else. It was something else, Kyle. So I just
did not expect that to happen like that.
No. So I kind of just wanted to get, as much as you care to share, just sort of your reaction to the viral video involving Dragon Pizza, especially since it's a place that you and me by extension have been to.
Yeah, it's one of those things where first of all, I love Dragon Pizza.
It was good. It was like the times that I've been there with you. It's been good pizza. So
right, it's very solid. That's where I disagree with Dave. I know he has his own standards of pizza, and I get it. You know what? You're not always gonna like the same food, the same pizza, and everything. I totally get that. But I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with Dave on that one. I think it's spectacular pizza. I love the flavor of it. So I'm definitely 50-50 on the whole kind of the whole situation there, because, I think it could have been handled a bit better on both sides of things, if you will.
Yes.
I totally understand why, the whole Dave Portnoy got the guy comes out and kind of starts yelling at him. I think he kind of started a little bit, but on the other hand, though, I don't really like the way Dave handled it either. So it's just kind of I don't like what he was yelling back at him, and I just think the whole situation could have been handled much better.
It basically just devolved, and the way I kind of put it was it basically devolved in two massholes yelling at each other is what I kind of what I referred to it as. I agree with you. I think that there's sort of some blame for that incident to go around. I think both guys, they live off the pomp and circumstance. I don't know, that's not the right way to call it, but they sort of live off the the notoriety of sort of it all, and you could sort of tell that guy was sort of looking for the owner guy was kind of like looking, for sort of 15 minutes, Dave out there recording, and Dave just is a very unfiltered guy, and he'll just kind of go back,
Well, sort of. For what I get from that was apparently because I was reading some articles about that because I kind of wanted to see like what I always like to do these like kind of deep dives and stuff like that. The owner of Dragon Pizza never really was a big fan of Dave Portnoy to begin with.
Correct. No, that is 100%.
Yeah, like, and he never really liked him. So I think regardless of whether Dave came up with a camera or not, I think the whole yelling situation was always going to happen. So,
yeah, no, I think what I mean is more like the one thing that I kind of fault the Dragon Pizza owner is that if anybody sort of took it to a level where maybe it didn't need to go, I kind of put it on the Dragon Pizza owner because, like, yeah, he walked out the first time and was like, hey Dave, I hope you enjoy the pizza as a customer, but I don't really like, basically just let me know what you thought, and then went back in, and Dave was kind of seemed to be kind of over it, but then for like him to come back out and start yelling at us, like, to get out, from a public sidewalk, and like just kind of start swearing out, so like that, like that. The video and the event would have been far less than it was if the guy hadn't come back out the second time. That's just my opinion, but
I do agree with that. Like that's why for me it's like the whole 50-50 thing. Like, I think it definitely, like, as much as you're right. He didn't have to come out that second. You're right. He proved his point, and then it didn't have to become like an escalating thing. Like, he said what he needed to say, and then Dave Portnoy was always going to do his thing. That's just how it is. He should just kind of let that all play out. But I also don't like the way Dave Portnoy was kind of like. I don't think he had the best comebacks either. I think he just kind of poked fun at him and jabbed at him. But that I was like,
I agree with you, but like that, I guess for me, I've watched a lot of Dave Portnoy stuff. Like I follow Barstool and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's just who he is. Like, I mean, that's just the kind of guy he is. Like, if you go at him, he's going to. I'm not saying, I'm not at all condoning. I'm not saying it's right. I agree with you. I agree with your sentiment, but I'm not surprised because Dave, just like if somebody attacks him, he's going to go in for the insult. He's going to go in for the comeback. He's going to just go in on the person, whoever he's got. The one thing that I agreed with him on with his comebacks that I didn't think where I thought there were some flaws in the Dragon Pizza owner's logic was that the Dragon Pizza owners were hitting him like, oh, you're so negative and mean towards small businesses, blah, 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 blah. And Dave kind of hit him back with the very accurate statement, like, during COVID, Dave raised over $50 million for small businesses. Through the Barstool Fund. He helped a lot of businesses, stay afloat during sort of the peak of the pandemic. So I think that guy.
True. Again, that's a good point.
That guy's just, he's obviously not a fan of Dave, like you said. He obviously wanted to make that perfectly clear, and he did that. I don't think he needed to do it, in the fashion that he did, or to the extent that he did. I don't think Dave needed to go as far as he did with the insults, but I'm not surprised by it. So I think we're both saying it's there was blame for it to go around, but it did make for quite a video. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it was amazing.
I've rewatched it several times. It was definitely entertaining. I mean, for sure. And I just thought it was funny how it was again a place that we had been to. It wasn't just some random place in New York or it was really a place that we have frequented, which I thought was absolutely wild. As soon as I saw it come out, I was like, wait a minute, we've been there. What?
Yeah, it was kind of mind blowing that way.
What is going on?
And it was funny because just one of the final points here I was going to bring up. I find it's funny because of their argument, how both of them kind of were. I feel like they were both kind of in their corner, and they had their opinions on each other, and
of course.
So that's. But it's funny because they both ended up kind of losing that argument in a lot of ways because of because of like that whole like what you said earlier about like that guy, the Dragon Pizza guy was wrong, because Dave did help like those small businesses, which I didn't know about until I found out about the through the video and everything, which I thought was very intriguing. But then at the same time, Dave lost the argument because he called it the worst pizza in America or whatever, and he was kind of like trying to like he was condoning the pizza. But then after that, like Dragon Pizza got a lot of hits, and it was like sold out for like the following weekend. So
I think when we were talking about this like before earlier, off air. It's kind of ironic how they both kind of helped each other.
Yeah.
By arguing, because Dave got like millions of views on the video. Like the Barstool Pizza Reviews YouTube is now up to over 1 million subscribers. Like they made merchandise that they're now like selling, like making money off of from the whole thing.
From the
argument. And because then on the flip side, like Dragon Pizza is being hit with like a ton of revenue. So it's kind of funny how Dave Portnoy. How the argument from the owner, like you said, was like that Dave doesn't help small businesses. And in a sense, Dave is unintentionally helping a small business.
Yeah.
Helping his small business through this whole thing. So there's just a lot of wild, like, sides and aspects to it.
So it's like they both, it's funny how, I guess you could sum up the whole thing by they both lost by winning.
Yeah.
In a way.
Exactly. I think that's perfect way to sum up. Yeah. They both lost and won at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
One of those rare win and lose situations, yes. I guess you could say.
No, literally. It's
too funny.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that only I feel like only like a Barstool video would would have happened. But
classic.
Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to bring that up because we were talking about it earlier, and like I said, it was just a spot that we've been to, so I just thought it was too not to sort of give it some airtime on this episode. Yeah. But I do want to move on to the end portion of our episode and into my new fall segment that I always have been doing for the last few years now. Called Robbie's Football Recap, where basically each week I recap my favorite football teams and my fantasy football teams. My 3 favorite football teams being the Wellesley High School Raiders, the Boston College Eagles, and the New England Patriots, obviously. And then, like I said, I will also be recapping my 2 fantasy football teams as well. Each week. Now, obviously, the NFL and the high school season don't start up till this coming week, within the next few days. So, no sort of NFL or high school recaps this week. Wellesley is opening up their season on Saturday afternoon at home against Dedham, and then the Patriots will open up their season on Sunday afternoon against the Philadelphia Eagles. But Boston College did have their season opener this past Saturday over Labor Day weekend, and unfortunately they did come out on the short end of things, losing in overtime to Northern Illinois 27-24. It was an exciting game. BC was down in the fourth quarter, but then made a comeback to tie the game. Goes to overtime. BC kicks a field goal, but unfortunately gave up a game-winning touchdown on Northern Illinois' possession. So BC 0-1 to start the year, but they will look to get back into the win column this Saturday as they host Holy Cross on Saturday afternoon. So more on that in next week's edition of the Robbie Football Recap. So
cool.
That's it for this week's Robbie Football Recap. Like I said, definitely a lot more coming following weeks. We have all 3 teams and my fantasy teams in action. But for now, as always, going to turn it over to the man, the myth, the legend, the Sue's, Kyle, for another edition of Sue's Reviews. Kyle, go for it.
So, for this week, I was going to review, I had watched a lot of movies and played some more games this time. So, there's one game I was going to review, but I'll probably save it till later. So what I'll do is I'll review the the latest superhero movie that I saw called Blue Beetle, and it starred. Sorry, I'm just like losing. Sorry, my brain is just really not working today. I apologize. Blue Beetle, DC movie. Came out just at the end of last month, I believe. And it was a pretty solid movie. I really enjoyed it. Nothing to write home about. I'm not gonna say go out of your way and like watch this movie. It doesn't really break the bank or like doesn't really break any new ground, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and it was kind of a little bit of a refreshing movie at the same time though, because it kind of felt it was a little bit of a callback to like kind of like superhero movies that came out more in like the 80s, like 90s even, that they just kind of were more focused on telling the story as opposed to just kind of like widening up the universe. Like, I feel like a lot of superhero movies nowadays, they try to set things up for future movies, and this one does that a little bit here and there with certain characters, but it mostly does focus on the story at hand and the character at hand, Blue Beetle, which stars this this kid. I'm so sorry, I cannot pronounce his name. I just know his first name is Zolo, and he actually plays one of the main characters from Cobra Kai, which is a really great TV show. I highly recommend watching that. He plays the title character Blue Beetle. He ends up kind of basically stumbling upon this kind of mechanical looking beetle that he gets handed off while he's like while he's at a job interview, and then he ends up developing these powers. This blue beetle he finds out that looks like just like this little mechanical kind of toy almost, ends up becoming, he finds out that it's like actually an alien like artifact, and it just kind of takes over his whole body. It's a little bit like this movie that came out in the 90s called Star Kid. I don't know if you guys ever remember that movie. Yeah, it came out, that one was like late 90s, like it definitely on the older side, but it's that whole idea of like like this him gaining superpowers, and he has to kind of like learn how to use it throughout the movie. So it's a movie that has some pretty solid action and like pretty cool effects and everything, but it's actually also very surprisingly family focused, and I like it because it sets him up as that he comes back home from college after earning a degree, and he's trying to find a new job, and basically his whole family like plays like they actually play a huge role in the movie. Like there's his grandma, who you find out like used to be a soldier in one of the wars of past, and like she ends up becoming like, you find out she's really good at using like guns and stuff like that just randomly. So this badass grandma comes in, and the rest of the family is just they're like wisecracking, really funny, very very heartfelt too. Like they clearly care about him. They want him to do really well. And then his sister is hysterical. It's just a really great dynamic that they have, and that honestly was the best part of the movie. Pretty much any scene with the families. George Lopez is even in the movie. He plays as like his pretty wacky uncle. Like it's a really good movie, or it's a solid watch. Like I said, nothing that is super groundbreaking, but it's kind of a fun family story. The villains aren't too memorable, even though it's played by Susan Sarandon. She's a great actress, but they didn't really do a whole lot with their character on the writing side of things. So, yeah, and it's it's if you're looking just kind of fun, turn your brain off movie, definitely check Blue Beetle out. And yeah, so that's what I got.
Perfect. No, that's another wonderful review as always. So thank you, Kyle, for that. And as always, you should listen to what he says.
Sometimes.
That's all I got.
Sometimes.
So that is going to be a wrap for this edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, would love to hear from you guys, your thoughts on anything we talked about in tonight's episode. So please feel free to drop a comment. And as always, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends, all that good stuff. We're here on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. We're everywhere. So definitely give us a follow. But big shout out, as always, to Zion Organizing in West Woodson. And as always, a shout out to Sports Blitz and Screen Time with Doug and Kyle. I mean, just the whole kit to caboodle. We are everywhere, and when it comes to YouTube and all that good stuff. So, and we love it. So anyway, that is going to be a wrap for this edition. As I just said, I think I repeated the "it's a wrap" line twice, but that's okay. As always, that's Kyle. I'm Robbie, and we will see you next time on I Couch Talking Sports. Bye, everybody.